Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Life According to Nikki. I have with me today a second Nikki, so it really is Life According to Nikki's today. Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. All right, Nikki, let's start off with how we met.
Nikki's origin story. We met in a line waiting for food, I think, and got talking about events, and then that really kicked it off. And you asked me what I did for work, and I said that I had just started freelancing in events.
That was very exciting for me because I'm a big event person. I like going to events. I like throwing events. So I was very intrigued when you said that's what you do for a living.
Experience design is the technical term for it.
We are going to get into the background of experience design, but truly I had never known what that really was until I met you. And then I saw it with my own two eyes, and you've converted me.
I'm just glad that we have stayed friends. You just make me feel like crazy ideas are not too crazy to go after, because you're always just going after something. And so I'm like, oh, of course you can just go to China.
I really do think people have it in their minds that you have to be a certain way, or I don't know, have a certain personality type, or you always have to reach some point in order to like get somewhere else.
Yes.
And I don't believe in that. I don't think it's steps. I think it's just a cliff. I think you just need to get a running start and just jump off.
Yeah.
Have faith that you're going to be caught by something. You just have to go for it. One little ounce of courage and then it'll work out. That's also my general thoughts on life. It's going to work out. Why would it not? You know?
And what's the worst that can happen?
Oh, and I go through worst case scenario. That's the thing too. I'm very rooted in reality.
Say you throw your hat over the fence and book a trip to Europe, and then obviously there are terrible worst case scenarios, but I think with a lot of stuff, we're just scared to be seen or scared to do something that we might fail at. And usually worst case scenario is, oh, yep, I failed.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I think worst case scenario for a lot of people is being embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with being embarrassed. I'm okay.
Where did you get that confidence of just not really having that as an inhibition?
That is a great question. If we were to really like trace it back, I remember my 6th grade teacher. She was talking with another adult and I was just listening to their conversation, and he asked her basically, what would you tell your 6th grade self? What do you wish you would have done differently type of question. And I was just sitting there doing my work and I heard her say so emphatically, oh, I wish I wouldn't have cared as much as I did.
Yeah.
The amount of time that I wasted caring about what other people thought, and I wish I would have been nicer to people. It was just kind of that expression, right? I really remember that moment sitting there thinking, I don't want to grow up and say that. I really don't want that to be a big regret. And obviously, I was in 6th grade, on the precipice of puberty. I cared. I cared what people thought. Oh, I cared. But that was always just replaying all the time in my head. I've always been pretty outgoing and outspoken. I do think that's a bit of my personality. But truly, when I turned 18, I felt like, why would I waste any more seconds of my life being so consumed with what I think others are thinking? I don't know what they're thinking. So why am I creating this narrative that everything everyone's ever thought about me is negative? Why don't I change it and just assume everybody thinks I'm awesome?
Which is the truth, actually.
Well, thank you. But it really did change a lot for me when I stopped putting negativity onto other people and assuming that they brought negativity to me. Because I really don't think that that's real. Of course, people are going to hate me. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I know for sure, positively, there are people that do not like me and have made it very clear they don't like me. But I'm not going to be the hero in everybody's story. But I'd like to be the hero in my own and do my best to be at least a really fun side character in everybody else's story. Does that make any sense?
Totally. I had a similar realization. There's a quote that says, what people think of me is none of my business. It's not even false positivity of like, oh, everybody loves me, but the idea that there are people that don't, and that's okay. I don't know why that took me so long to learn. It really came when I had a client that just had an ego the size of a moon. I was working at a marketing agency, and I won't go into the whole story, but basically we pushed back on this logo design that he wanted because it was a lot, and we were the professionals hired to help with it. Anyway, he did not like me, and he told my teammates in private when I was out of the room, and then I came back in the room and continued the meeting, and they were like, oh, this is so awkward. And then I found out from my boss, and I was shocked because I thought that we had good rapport. I just realized, oh, you can't be everybody's cup of tea, and wow, I didn't die from that experience. That's actually fine.
Yes.
And kind of liberating, honestly.
It is. Once you realize you genuinely cannot please everyone. It does not matter what you do.
Yes.
People will not like you, and they will not look at you the way that you wish that they would. And they will have the story written of who you are, and there is nothing that you can do really to change that. So you gotta move on. I think it is really important to hone in on the people you really care about.
Yeah, it's not like you're walking around trying to be a jerk and like, oh, well, if they don't like me, they don't like me. You're just genuinely living a life that you love, and people might judge you for it, but who cares?
I do have this kind of like life motto. I'm gonna go either way, but I'd love to have you with me. When I was going to China, I had a couple people in mind that I wanted to go with, and they even interviewed with my boss as well. And we were kind of planning to do this together, and then they bailed. That's totally fine. But it was that moment where it's like, okay, well, am I always going to live my life dependent on other people being with me or this security blanket, or am I going to do what I want to do because I feel like it's right?
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of my philosophy is I am going to go after my dreams. I would absolutely love to have someone that wants to do that with me, but not having someone is not going to stop me. You know?
Yeah. My sister, Sarah, is my concert buddy, and we've done so many awesome concerts together. And then when she left to South Carolina on her mission, I still wanted to go to shows, so I just started going alone, and I made so many friends. I went to Pink, of all people. I literally went for this like one song, but the show ended up being amazing. But I was sitting next to this couple, and they were like, oh, are you here alone? And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, here, have some nachos. They were so nice to me. And I don't know if it's because out of pity or if they were just nice. But anyway, it's just worth living the life that you... I don't know what I'm trying to do.
Yes, there's this thing I do. Secret revealed. I take myself out on dates because ain't nobody else doing it. When I started doing this, I was 21, and I was getting so upset because I had all these really great date ideas, but no one to go with.
Yeah.
And I tried the dating apps. I tried the things, and it just was not working for me. Then I would end up sitting at home on a Friday night when I really wanted to go do this thing. So I finally decided, enough with that. I'm going to take myself out. It started as just going to these things that I wanted to go to, right? And just kind of being okay with being by myself. I think that's huge. I think that is very important to like your own company. But then I noticed when I was doing this, I would feel a little bit awkward and be on my phone, or I was concerned about other people noticing that I'm by myself. I remember going to the theater for the first time by myself to go see a movie, and I had all my stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, everyone here knows. Everybody knows that I don't have a date. Then I realized nobody cared. That was so liberating. So I started kind of honing in on what I want these dates with myself to be. And I was like, well, on a normal date, I would get to know somebody. So I kind of want to get to know myself. I don't have my phone on me, and I will purposefully not bring anything, like a book or something like that. So I'm forced to either look around me or to just sit with myself. There was something very powerful when I went to my very first sit-down restaurant where you have to tell them, you know, how many people are in your party, and I go, just me, babe.
Yeah.
Just me. I remember the waitress being so surprised, like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll lead you to your table. And she's like, you're sure we're not waiting for anybody? And I felt like she was getting the impression that I was being stood up, which has happened, but it didn't happen that day. I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm just here by myself. I just want to get to know myself a little bit better. And I had the best evening. She kept coming over to my table, chatting with me and talking with me, and I feel like I made a friend that night, you know? Just sitting in silence with myself, eating this dinner. I think it is so helpful because then then when you have those moments where you're like, this person really hates me, or I'm being seen in what I feel like is an inaccurate light to somebody else, or I want to do this thing, but I'm so scared of embarrassment and failure. At the end of the day, if you like yourself and you're okay with yourself, then none of it really matters that much. It'll matter for a second, but it's overweighed by your peace with knowing who you are. What makes me okay with being embarrassed? At the end of the day, I know that that embarrassment isn't fully me. You know, I know who I am. I know what my intentions were in that moment, even if I failed. I know that I'm more than my failures, and I really like myself.
Ooh, can I ask you one more question?
Yes.
We can move on to all the, you can cut all of this out if you want.
No, this is great. Thank you for interviewing me.
Do you feel like, because you spend a lot of your life in discomfort physically, do you think that that has helped you also embrace discomfort emotionally, or that discomfort that you feel when you go into new situations or deal with the discomfort of being alone or trying something that you might get judged for?
You know, I've never thought about that. I would have to really think about that. I'm sure it does play a part. To me, it's almost motivating because I live every day in discomfort. I also believe that everybody else has stuff going on that I'm not seeing. So I think that helps me with my perception of the world. I genuinely feel like my tumor and the nerve damage that I have, as painful and as not fun as it is, I do feel like it's a gift from God, because my entire perspective had to change when that happened, and it has never been the same since. And I'm really grateful for the changes that it made in my head. I feel like I was quite judgmental towards other people before. But then having that judgment on me of everyone, you either have to believe me and believe that I'm not lying when I tell you that something's wrong, or you don't. Like, that's up to somebody else. There's nothing I can do to convince you. I think that's when I started to realize that everybody's going through stuff that I can't see. And that, again, plays into the, they're probably not thinking about me. We really aren't as consumed with each other as we believe we are. I mean, I think about myself way more than I think about other people. You know? I do think it changed it to be a lot more positive in my head.
This is why I love you, Nikki, is because you are dually the most grounded person and also shooting for the stars. And maybe those go hand in hand. The fact that you have deep roots makes you able to expand so much.
Oh, I think that's true.
I love being around you.
Thank you. Your creativity, we'll talk about this in a bit, but the Valentine's Day Museum, your baby, it has inspired me so much. I mean, I feel like it's just been this dual back and forth. Like, you're saying that I've inspired you in many ways, but it goes both ways. I mean, from the moment we met, I was like, this girl's cool. I really like her. You were talking about how people getting together is more than just putting a bunch of people in a room. There are ways to facilitate and make it a better experience for everyone. And I'd never thought about that. And that philosophy and just idea has really changed my life. So thank you. We're going to get into it, but you know, I'll just say it off the bat. Thank you so much for being my friend. All right, now it is time to get to our first agenda item.
Okay.
What have you been watching?
I actually love your recommendations. I love that you go through everything that you've watched recently, because I feel like I have way more limited time. I want to hear everything about a movie and what I might like and what I might not like before I watch it. I take notoriously way too long to choose movies, which is ridiculous, because I'm like, I don't want to waste 2 hours, but then I will literally spend 2 hours picking a movie.
It's a catch-22.
So anyway, you are doing God's work. Thank you for giving all the recommendations.
Thank you for listening.
You know where I find other fun movies is on planes. It expands my selection. I was on a plane the other day and I found this one called Desperately Seeking Susan.
Okay.
It's from the 80s. Madonna is in it. It's about this lady who's just kind of a housewife in Long Island, I think, or in New York. And she is obsessed with the wanted ads, like seeking whatever in the newspaper. And she notices that there's this guy and this girl, her name's Susan, and this guy will always like write her love letters through the wanted ads. Anyway, one day she follows the lady, and apparently the lady's like caught up in this big jewel thievery or something, and she gets knocked out and she gets mistaken for this lady, and it's an amnesia love story.
Oh, I love an amnesia love story.
But I love movies from that time. 80s and 90s movies, I feel like were just just full of the randomest little things, like characters that just have no purpose, or random quirky things that show up in the movie that have no reason to be there. And that's what makes it so interesting, is that it's not just a very straight, boring storyline.
I watched Singing in the Rain for the first time last year, and I felt that way. There was so much going on, but then I remember they did not have phones. They were not distracted. This was hilarious. This was prime comedy. And now I do think shows and movies are a bit more boring and have simpler plots because they're competing with another screen. Like, we're watching two things at once. So you can't make it complex. You can't add these fun little random details or whatever because they're going to be missed anyways. Whereas I think it's different now because we all can't have more than, a 5-second attention span.
That's why I love going to the movie theater. I almost don't even care what I'm seeing, mostly because I love the popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
But
there was nothing quite like a midnight premiere. Do they even do those anymore?
I don't think so. If they do them, they'll do them the night before at like 8.
Oh, no. I remember seeing the Hunger Games movies at midnight with my homemade t-shirt, my earrings, my phone case, Josh Hutcherson as my screensaver. I mean, I never was there for the Twilight thing, as everybody knows, but I'm sad I missed it. There was just something about the buzz of being there for a midnight release.
You'd waited for hours. Oh, it was probably because they didn't have assigned seating.
You're totally right.
That's why we had to get there so early so that you could all sit together.
I forgot about that. And remember, they used to just be these stiff little seats. Now we got, fully expanded, all this stuff. I love it. Love the improvements.
We're too comfortable.
Yeah. But even then, now that it's so comfortable, people are like, I might as well just watch it at home.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of in that boat sometimes too, where why would I go to the theater when it's just going to drop on Netflix in 3 months? Unless I really, really want to see that movie, then usually I'll just wait. Not that I don't like the vibes at the theater, it's just,
People don't know what it's like to have to go to Blockbuster and find the movie.
Blockbuster! What a time. Go VCR! That was good. That was a good time. So, you've seen Desperately Seeking Susan, which I just added to my watch list, because that sounds interesting. What's your rating?
Oh, I'd say 8 out of 10. I just found it so entertaining.
Okay, I love that. We recently watched a movie together.
Float. You already talked about it on the pod, but what a disappointment.
What a tragic disappointment that was. I mean, I've already said it, but let us reemphasize. Don't watch Float.
The only other thing I've seen recently was a play at Hale Center Theater. They did Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, how was that?
Which, ironically, I have seen the movie of, but only 3/4 of the movie, so I actually had no idea how it ended, and it's kind of sad. It was amazing.
It was
Just
so good.
An amazing job. Great talent. Their sets are what kill me. They're so cool. And I loved the story. I like stories about high demand cultures like that because we come from a religion that's also very high demand. And so I feel like I can just relate to why they do what they do, even though it's so different from what I do. I can appreciate their commitment to it.
Mad respect for anyone who is willing to, sacrifice things for their religion, because we believe in that. Well, no, I'm going to ask you a question, because you said that you've watched Dylan is in Trouble.
Oh, yeah. Thanks to your podcast.
And what are your thoughts?
It's so funny. I just got on, and one of the ones that popped up is this movie called So Undercover that has Miley Cyrus in it.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
His commentary on that is so good. Yeah, he's great.
He does a lot of teen drama movies because it gets a lot of views, you know? But I'm telling you, his commentary on Twilight and the After series is incredible. It is the funniest thing. Oh, I love it so much. And then we just watched last night the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. And your thoughts? I mean, we're only, 16 YouTube episodes in?
I love how it feels straight up like a vlog. It has all the charm of those 2010s vloggers. So well done. What a creative concept.
So great. Go listen, watch, do all the things. Do everything I've talked about. Nikki can attest. They're worth your time.
Oh, yeah. I would believe anything that you told me to do.
Nikki,
becomes a cult leader.
Okay, this brings up a question. Do you believe that you could fall for a cult?
Oh, probably.
I saw this on a different podcast that I was watching. They were discussing that question. Do you think you could be susceptible? If a woman was in charge, absolutely. Absolutely. I could be sucked in. A man, not so much. Not so much. But if I'm being fully honest, and this is about to sound very narcissistic, I do think I could be a cult leader. I don't think I would be as susceptible to join a cult as to make my own. I would get me some followers.
This podcast is going to become...
Yeah, what should my eventual followers be called? You know, that's what I can't decide.
Ooh.
Drop your suggestions. I'm not saying that I want to be a cult leader, but if it becomes a cult organically...
I'm okay with it.
It's all right. Don't worship me or nothing.
Just do everything I say.
Exactly.
You're like, I don't want to be worshipped. I'm nobody's hero, but just do everything that I tell you to do. I just want to be obeyed.
I think my intentions are more pure than, you know, an actual cult leader. Is that how they all begin?
Yeah.
They all think that what they're doing is for the betterment of the people that follow them.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't understand cult leader mentality.
I don't know. I love watching a good cult documentary, though. I was having this conversation with some friends, and I'll tell you after who it was, because you know them. One of them said that he would be the cult leader, and immediately... all of us said no. I was like, let's humble you here for a second. No one would follow you.
That's so harsh.
I know, but bold of him to say, as I sit here making that claim, at least I know I can solidly get a couple people behind me.
Yeah. Yeah, got me.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, I like hate to admit, but when I say like, yeah, I probably would join a cult, I'm like, for the right person.
It was just so funny to me that he was so confident, and then all of us, everyone was like, none of us would.
It's like a backhanded compliment, sort of like, we don't think that you have what it takes to be a cult leader, which is kind of a good thing, but also more of an insult.
Yeah, it's true. I guess it depends on how you look at it, but he definitely took it offensively. Oh, you know, sorry. Okay.
I'm so glad we went on that tangent.
Yeah, we needed to veer really quick because I did need to take a pit stop and know what your thoughts on cults were. Moving right along to our main topic of today, experience design. What is it? Why did you get into it? And how did it become the birthplace of the Valentine's Day Museum?
If you were doing graphic design, then you would be designing graphics. And if you were doing interior design, then you would be designing rooms. And if you're doing experience design, then you are designing experiences. To me, the simplest way to think about it is if this experience, whether it's an event or a customer experience through your business, what is the outcome that I want and how do I reverse engineer the entire experience to lead to that outcome?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes total sense. What got you into this?
I've always loved getting people together, but I'm a magazine junkie. I was reading a magazine right after college, and there was an article from this lady named Priya Parker, and at the end it says she also has a book, and I read the book. It's called The Art of Gathering, and it changed my freaking life.
Really?
Because it was the first thing to introduce me to this idea. We plan events in very templated ways or just do it the way it's been done, and we don't give it much thought. And there's so much more purpose and tools that you can plug into an experience to get the outcome that you're hoping for. Like so often we have a birthday party, and even if you have a theme, you're like, okay, Star Wars is my theme. So you get some Star Wars decor, maybe people come in Star Wars costumes, you get a guest list, you get a cake. That's a party, right? But am I hoping for a really memorable evening? And if so, memorable like high energy, doing something kind of ridiculous? If so, how do I plan more ridiculousness into this? Or am I actually hoping for a more intimate thing? In which case, do I really really wanted to throw this really high energy party. And then sometimes you come away from it thinking, why do I not feel fulfilled by this experience that I had?
If you're trying to plan an event or a party or something for other people to attend, how can you help everyone see the vision?
There's this idea of priming people for the right energy to bring to an event. People don't like going into events blind. I learned this from my friend, and I had this idea of what if we could throw events where it's kind of a secret or like a mystery, so you get a hint, but you just show up with the energy to come for anything. We called it Up for Anything, and we're like, okay, we'll do a prototype. You get a clue, you show up at a location, and then you don't know what you're doing for the evening. We decided to throw a picnic in a cemetery. Sometimes losing somebody or being in a cemetery or things that kind of bring you closer to death make you recontemplate life and what is really meaningful. And so we brought chocolate covered strawberries and like sparkling cider to kind of enjoy these finer things of life, and then had a conversation about what's the legacy that you want to leave, things like that. Fun idea for the right people. But we told everybody, meet at the parking lot of Rock Canyon. We will be outdoors for the evening. And then we sent them an Edgar Allan Poe quote. Something about death. We did a survey after, which is always really great. Recommend doing surveys and getting data on how people felt about things to improve. In the survey after, people said, I ended up enjoying the activity, but I came with way more energy thinking we were going to be like hiking or doing something around a campfire or I don't know, more outdoorsy. And so then when we pivoted to this deep conversation, they weren't prepared for that emotionally or, like energy wise. I learned a lot from that, which was great. And I think there's a lot you can do in priming people. It's always exciting to have an unexpected something. It doesn't need to be so straightforward of like, here's exactly what to expect. But I've learned that most people actually really want to know as much as they can about an event before they come. If you can find just the right picture that shows the vibe that you expect this to be, especially if there's a dress code, sending pictures, or I will make a Pinterest mood board of here's inspiration for what to wear. And then you can even explain things like this will be a no phone event. So, plan on that, especially if you can give reasoning. This will be a totally immersive experience. We ask that you leave your phone at the door, or we ask that you turn your phone off when you enter, or things like that. Then it feels like they know that you're serving them. It's not just like we don't want your phones at our event. Anytime that you can help people understand why it's being created the way it's being created. But I'd say like visuals are key. Get a few key stakeholders, friends that are bought into helping you with the event, or at least being attendees. I'll create a slide deck sometimes and I'll be like, okay, here's what we're picturing. Get them on board. So then you have a few people who can kind of help you keep that vibe or come really prepared or answer questions. So you're not the only one trying to host the whole thing.
This is such great advice.
I just love the idea of experience design. I think that we have an opportunity when you're not alone, you're with somebody. Like pretty much everything we do in life is a version of an experience, and we don't have to redesign all of them. But I think even on a personal level, you can design experiences for yourself. You were telling me you don't like doing laundry, and so you designed an experience where you just got enough underwear that you don't have to do laundry but once a month. And I think that's amazing.
That is a life hack of mine. I write down every year stuff I hate doing, and then I eliminate those things from my life.
You can take things that you don't like doing in your life. If you hate doing the dishes, you get a soap that smells really good, and you have a podcast that you only let yourself listen to while you're doing dishes, and you create this experience for yourself that's really enjoyable. We can design experiences for ourselves to make our lives so delightful without even needing extra money to do it or having to get people together. Sometimes I think we have needs that we need filled, and we think that they're going to be filled by one thing, but it's actually digging a little bit deeper and figuring out like what would actually make me feel connected, or what would actually make me feel worthwhile or joyful. Anyway, I could go deep.
That is so beautiful, Nikki. Just so everybody knows, I'm going to plug your podcast so hard right now. Nikki also has a podcast called Getting Together Better, and it has a really cute little theme song. I really enjoy your theme song. I listened to it, and I was so inspired because you go into depth on these concepts, and I loved your examples that you use, especially your latest episode. You give examples of different types of parties. You interview your friend about a carrot party that they threw. Can you just give a quick summary, because I loved this, and go listen to her episodes to be able to get a full feel of it, because it's amazing.
Yeah, the carrot party, my friends in college, one of them was gifted a huge bag of carrots, and so they just decided to throw a party and do everything that they could possibly do with all of the carrots. It's so fun to plan parties because there's this element of creativity, and we don't get that in a lot of other places in our lives. So yeah, they had carrots being used as a quill. They had themed songs, and then they tried to cook carrots on the stove and it caught on fire. That's about when I got there. Everyone was evacuating, but I interviewed them about it later. You can really make a party out of anything.
That's what I love that you bring up, especially in your podcast, but just in life. This idea that anything can be an experience. And that's something that I really connect with, because I believe that life is full of endless opportunities to feel joy and happiness. I think joy is more of a deeper feeling and happiness is more of an emotion in the moment. But I think we have the opportunity to experience so much of both if we design things to be that way. If you make a decision that that's the way you want to live your life and you look for those small things. I loved your example with the soap. Even the simplest thing can change a small mundane chore into something enjoyable.
This is a small tangent and maybe a little too deep, but I think that God has designed life for us. And so even without doing anything of your own, I agree there's so much out there that can just bring you delight on a daily basis as you're making your way around. Like taking 5 seconds to just feel the sun on your face, or I'm just obsessed with it lately of looking for all the little things in my life. I could go off, but I think that experience design, you don't even have to start by planning anything. It's just being aware of all the experiences that currently exist and where delight comes from, and then you can just infuse those things into the rest of your experiences.
I'm so glad this is recorded. That was so inspiring. Truly, I believe exactly what you just said. Amen. Hallelujah. I agree.
Okay, the last thing I'll say on that that just came to mind is I personally don't believe that everything bad that happens to us is God-given, but I believe that this life is meant to be ease in places and delight in places, and also struggle that's going to build us in some way. And anyways, it is all part of our own life experience design.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I love this.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Amen. Seriously, I'm singing in that choir. Maybe I'll join your cult. All right, let's get into the Valentine's Day Museum. This was, I feel like, when I started to really become friends with you. You told me about this museum that you were going to do, and it was going to be your first year doing it. I was very intrigued, especially coming from single people. I was like, don't we look at Valentine's as like, oh, you're just shoving it in my face type of thing? And you did not have that at all. You were so hyped about it. You started telling me about the ideas that you had. I was absolutely amazed that one person's brain could come up with everything that you came up with.
That's so sweet of you. The Valentine's Museum is a passion project. I remember going to a museum and there was this exhibit on emotions in the scriptures, actually, like all throughout the Bible, and they had documented all the emotions described. And I was like, wow, that is so cool that you can take information and then boil it down and then display it in a way that it's easily consumable to people and potentially impactful. So I just thought it would be so fun to be a museum designer. I had just gone freelance, so I had the time on my hands. I love Valentine's Day. Growing up, my mom always made a heart cake and we would just decorate it. And I remember in 6th grade, I decided to hand make Valentines for everyone in my class, and it was so fun. I just got totally in flow. I don't know, Valentine's just took on this joyful aspect to me. I just always loved it, and to me it's kind of like Thanksgiving, where you take time to consider all of the people in your life that you're grateful for and just kind of bask in, wow, I have so much love in my life. I have people that love me and that I love, and I just love the ridiculousness of it. I love pink and lace and just all the craziness of it, and it's kind of fun to poke fun at that. We know that it's over the top, we know that it's commercialized, and it can also be a meaningful experience for everybody regardless of relationship status. I had this idea of, could I do just a little pop-up exhibit? And I didn't have it in mind of doing it at the scale that it ended up. I decided that December before that Valentine's Day that I was going to go for it. And again, it was like, what's the worst that can happen? I can just go small. I can just do something, which I totally recommend. Do what you want to do, even if it's just on the tiniest, most minuscule scale, and that can give you fulfillment and also maybe confidence to then do it on a larger scale.
To that point really fast, the thing that gave me confidence to do this podcast was the fact that I did a website the year before. I was like, you know what? Let's take it back one notch before I put the mic in front of my mouth. Let's see if I can at least write down these thoughts. Let's see what I can kind of create and what skills I can learn. And so I did the website first, and that totally gave me the confidence to do the podcast. I knew that I was capable of doing something I've never done before because that website was very difficult. I built it from scratch. It made me think, well, then you can do one more thing. This isn't that big of a step to go to the podcast. And it's all passion project. I didn't put any pressure on myself. It was just something I wanted to do for me. Even if nobody else looks at it, if no one else listens to this, I will be listening. I will listen to my own podcast. I will look at my own Instagram. I do it for me. Do stuff for you. Go after your passions, and you can make it small. If going big and jumping fully off the cliff is a little too much, then try something a little bit smaller first.
Yes. I think that's why we get along so well, is because we both kind of go for passion. We just do things because we want to.
Yes. We don't let anybody or anyone else's doubts hold us back. We're like, no, I will be delusional and it will work out. And that's the thing, is it does. Yeah. There is nothing quite like that high of knowing you are fully delusional.
Yes.
Like, you are actually crazy. And, you know, you have to act cool around everybody else. You gotta show confidence when everybody else is telling you how crazy you are. But, like, I know. I'm super aware of how crazy this is. Trust me, I know. It's my money on the line. It's my sanity. No, I understand how insane this is. But you just kind of lean into this delusional optimism. And then when you do jump and you are caught by, in my opinion, God, you're caught by the people around you that are so willing to help you and these amazing experiences that you had, and you get that adrenaline rush. Oh, there's nothing quite like it. And you just can't wait to jump again. You're like, that was insane, but I was caught by something incredible.
Preach. Hallelujah. Your cult can be called Club Delulu.
The Delulus!
The Delulus.
We'll be the Delulus. Yes. Guys, should we adopt that? Is that what you guys want to be called? Should we all be Delulus? I love that.
I love it.
Going back, we're gonna start small.
That's funny. Yeah, so I was looking for a venue, went to malls, finding out if there was empty spaces there. I was just like, where can I even do this? And then I was on a work trip in Mexico City, and this lady called me, friend of a friend, and she owned a small venue. I had cobbled together this PDF to give people a vision of what I was thinking. It was bad, like Photoshop crap. When you're doing something that nobody has seen before, if you want people to even have any sort of vision, you have to like show them what you're thinking. For example, I had this idea for an exhibit called the Cuddle Puddle, and I was like, what if we took sweatshirts and long sleeve shirts and sewed them up and stuffed them so they're basically like stuffed animal, just torsos, and we put them all in this big pile and you can like jump into it. Forget ball pits. I want torsos. Anyway, I photoshopped kind of a stuffed shirt and just photoshopped it in like a big pile and wrote a small description of the Cuddle Puddle. So I had a PDF of things like that. Here's the exhibits that I'm imagining, and I sent it to her. And anyway, she called me while I was in Mexico City. It was January 19th. And I told her, okay, I can either pay you your rent up front or we can split the revenue 50-50. And she's like, well, I do have to make sure that I make rent. So she just did that. So I threw my hat over the fence. I owe her at least $3,500.
I think it is important for people to know, like, yeah, you do sometimes have to put stuff out on the line.
Well,
invest in yourself.
I literally drained my bank account. I didn't have that much, but I think total we spent $6,000 or $7,000 that first year, which was pretty much all the money that I had. Thankfully, she was willing for me to pay her at the end, and then we made that all back plus some, and then I paid her. So I think we made $10,000, which was shocking.
That is amazing, Nikki. That is amazing.
I was shocked. Honestly, I was just so thrilled. The night that we broke even, I was like, but that first year especially, we had 2 weeks to build this whole thing out, and it was absolutely insane. I kind of just threw it out to friends and was like, here's what I'm doing. If you have any time, here's the nights that I'll be there. Would love your help. And I could not have done it without friends and volunteers. And so I acknowledge that so heartily. And I still haven't really figured out a way around that, because in order to rent a place for a month to keep it cost efficient, I just rent from the 15th to the 15th. So that gives us 2 weeks to build, and then we open the first weekend of February. And also because it's seasonal, nobody thinks about Valentine's Day until February. So you can't open a Valentine's museum in January. So the nature of this specific thing just makes it so crazy.
I just have a comment, just in this theme of talking about dreams and going after your passions. Don't think that you have to do it alone. When you jump over that cliff, there are other people there that are so willing to help you. And I think Nikki is a great testament to this, because I wanted to volunteer. When you are passionate about something and you share that with other people, you want to be included in their joy and their experience. And that's definitely what I felt from you. And I was so impressed with how many people showed up for you. And I've seen it for 3 years now. People show up for you. And I just think you deserve a little bit of credit of just what an amazing human you are, what a great job you do in showing your vision and in sharing your passion with others, that it makes us all want to be a part of it. It's just such a good energy, and you make it that way. You get all sorts of treats and everything for all the volunteers. I mean, you got volunteers that have never met you. There was this girl, we were working together on the second year of the museum. I asked her, how do you know Nikki? And she goes, oh, actually, I attended the Valentine's Day Museum last year, and I loved it so much that I wanted to be a part of it this year. And she helped so much. She did a ton of stuff. And I just thought that was so awesome. I just love that community side to your passions, that it doesn't just have to be this isolated thing that you want to do. It can become a project for everyone around you.
I've met some of my favorite people doing the Valentine's Museum because they just volunteer. I try to do the crappier projects myself and then hand off the funner ones. It is fun, and I am just amazed at the people that volunteer and could not do it without them. It's very vulnerable to need help. Literally, I could not do it myself. Anyway, the best part was seeing people experience the museum in ways that I hoped they would. And even better was seeing people experience in ways that I didn't expect. We had a Valentine's making station. We just had this table and all these craft supplies and magazines. I've been a magazine hoarder for so long. I literally had boxes, and I was like, hallelujah, these are totally coming in handy. People made the funniest Valentines. People are so creative, and so that's my favorite part of the museum, is the co-creation. The way that people interact with it and end up being creative within the museum is the funnest thing to me.
Here's something that's so cool, in my opinion, about the Valentine's Day Museum is, yes, you have these exhibits, and some of them, you know, you're reading or you're just looking at it, but then she also has moments where you get to participate. And there was this section where you put on heart-shaped red sunglasses. Your sister had done the graphic design. And when you had the glasses on, you read certain sentences like, he's so kind and caring. But when you took them off, these rose-colored glasses, then you actually saw a blueprint on top saying the red flags that you missed when you had the glasses on. What a concept! It was just so brilliant. I couldn't get over it. I was like, that is the most creative, cool way. You took this phrase, when you have rose-colored glasses, you don't see red flags, and then you made it an experience of me really seeing it. It's unbelievable what you can do.
Thank you. I love the creation side of it. It's just a blast.
I'm just obsessed. Guys, go listen to Nikki's podcast because it's full of all of this stuff. And I don't even think it has to be something big. I mean, I'm all about a big event. But even just something small. I have been to so many of your small little dinner parties, and every time you invite me, I'm pumped because it's just always an experience. It really is. It's so curated to be something more than just people sitting down and eating, you know? And I think that simple change in thinking about how do you want these people that are coming together to interact with each other, having an end goal with hanging out with people, I think it makes everything more meaningful. And everyone feels a little bit more valued when they show up because you took the time to curate something and they want to participate in that. All right, it has now come time for our epic ending to this episode, which is Hills We Will Die On.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's controversial.
Great.
Please remember, keep in mind, I'm gonna die here. You will not change my mind. All right? Decision has been made, and I'm very upfront. When I say I will die on something, I take that into consideration because I do value my life. But Crumbl cookies, not good. They are a marketing company. They are not a cookie company. For my viewers that are not from Utah and have no idea what I'm talking about, look up Crumbl cookies, spelled Crumbl. Without the E. And it's this cookie company. They come out with new cookies every single week. They are absolutely ginormous. When you eat one of their cookies, you can only eat like a fourth of it. You feel sick to your stomach. They come in this big pink box. Their marketing is unmatched.
Phenomenal.
I think it should be studied in marketing classes because it's brilliant. Yeah, some of their recipes are better than others. Some I like, but not to the extent that I'm eating an entire Crumbl cookie. And I don't want to spend $40 on 4 cookies. You know what I mean? It's all a marketing ploy. I've tasted better cookies from a Pillsbury pack from Walmart.
Are there any of the cookie companies that you do like?
No, I haven't come across one yet that made me go, I would spend this much money on it. I like Blox, Blox. Theirs is more of a brownie, which I'm not even a brownie person, but I do like the recipes. But what upsets me is the fact that they change every week, which I understand from a marketing perspective. It's genius. Absolutely brilliant to change your cookies every single week. So it gives this rarity to it. It's like Girl Scout cookies. Why are those so popular? Because they're only sold for an exclusive amount of time. It makes you want them more. You desire them. I think there is some real strategy there. So I like Blox Carmelita. That one's super good. It's like a 7-layer bar with caramel, but I'm not keeping track of, what week it's there. I personally don't think it's worth all that money.
That's a good hill.
Chip, Crumbl, Dirty Dough, all those. You have not convinced me yet that you are an incredible cookie. I'm not here for your product.
That's a good hill.
Thank you. Especially in Utah County. Woo!
Yeah, you might get nixed tonight, but...
Yeah, there's a whole army kind of be coming after me, be like, it's the best. Okay, tell me you didn't want to throw up. You ate an entire Crumbl cookie and you didn't feel like vomiting? Okay. I don't believe you, but okay.
I love it.
All right, what are your hills?
One of my hills is that Arctic Circle hamburgers are the bomb.
Really?
I love them. I think they're completely underrated. They're cheap. When I was growing up, we would go to the lake a lot on Saturdays, and then, anything that you eat after that's just like the best, On the way home, would stop at Arctic Circle and just buy like a whole bag of hamburgers and dump it out, and then everyone could just eat a few because they're small. They're not trying to be these big burgers,
Yeah.
And they have this white sauce that they put on them and this shredded lettuce and pickles that are really good. And I love them so much.
I love that.
My brother-in-law is from Texas, and he just tried them for the first time, and now he's like obsessed with them.
That is an underrated one too, because Arctic Circle kind of on the fringes of fast food.
Yeah, I think it's only in Utah.
They have the best fry sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'll go to bat for some Arctic Circle fry sauce.
Unfortunately, their fries are not as good as the fry sauce.
That's unfortunate.
I want Wendy's fries with Arctic Circle fry sauce and a burger and then a Chick-fil-A shake.
I don't eat burgers, so I didn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just don't like hamburgers?
I have an iron allergy, actually.
What?
Random.
How do you get iron then?
Oh, I have too much. I have too much iron. So when I eat something really high in iron,
it's like too much.
I get digestional problems. It's like a lactose intolerant person. It sounds to me like we have very similar symptoms.
Yeah, how interesting.
Yeah, I get tummy rumbles.
Well, I'm really sad that you won't be able to enjoy an Arctic Circle hamburger then.
Maybe I will. I don't know.
Another hill I will die on is that if you are out in nature, you should not be playing audible music.
Ooh, no open speakers.
Right. Every time I'm like hiking with friends and they put on music, I'm like, no, turn it off. Or rock climbing. We have so little time to just be in the stillness of nature. Don't ruin it with music, especially if it's not in your headphones. If other people can hear it, then you're ruining the experience for other people outside. You do not own the outdoors.
I like the passion.
Another thing, I don't know if this is a hill I'll die on, but this is a seat at the table kind of thing. I love your table metaphor. How is it that it is 2024? We have come so far with technology. We almost have robots who will do everything for us. We have Wi-Fi that can work out in the middle of the desert, you know? And yet, why does cell service suck so bad all of a sudden? I feel like cell service was better when I was like 18. What is happening? Because at my house, I drop phone calls all the time. I'm in a normal suburb. What gives? I hate it.
Every moment that I think that we're evolved, that we're really making headway technology-wise, my iPhone barely works. And I'm like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
How are we sending people on Elon Musk's rocket to the moon or whatever, but I can't 2 times my speed audio message on the iPhone? Yeah. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, why are we not addressing these things? Are we just all just accepting the way things are?
Yeah. Put me in government. Yeah. I will be an activist for the minutia things.
That's all you.
That's literally my platform. Is if it is anything more than something that would be mildly irritating to everyone,
you don't want to address it.
Yeah. I will not speak on it. I have nothing to say at this time. If it is something that is minorly bothering tons of people, it will be resolved.
Yes. Yeah.
That will be when I start my cult.
Yeah. You're just like a low-key lobbyist. You're like, I don't want to lobby for anything significant.
Yes, that is absolutely a low-key lobbyist. That's what I will be.
2 more. I believe that peanut butter is packaged in the wrong way. I think that peanut butter should be in a flat, wide container. That would be so much easier, especially if you buy peanut butter in bulk. Then it's too big, and by the end, you're having to put your hand in the peanut butter container to scrape out the sides. It's not ergonomical.
Yes.
Can somebody invent that? I just think it'd be so easy, and I would buy it, and it would be easy to store. You know, the other invention that I really want to exist is a tiny Roomba back scratcher.
That is so good.
Wouldn't that be so nice?
That's amazing. Have you ever seen Spy Kids?
Yeah.
You know how they have those little bugs? Yeah, we just need one of those that can just go on our back.
That's not a hill that I want. My last hill is that I think that you need to be an inspirational speaker.
Me?
Yes.
Oh.
I just want you to run all the Tony Robbins seminars, you know. I just want you to go be a youth speaker or do assemblies, or I will create an event for you to be a speaker, because every time I listen to you, I feel so inspired. So that is my hill I will die on, and I will not let you rest until you do it. So there you go.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I don't know if I should admit this, but it is one of my biggest dreams. Truly. Mm-hmm. Because I am very inspired by other people being just so real, cutting past the crap. If I can help other people go after their dreams and get past hard things, oh, I would love that. That's my dream.
So what's like the passion project version of that?
Honestly, this right now.
That's true.
This is my gateway.
Yeah.
I am huge into New Year's resolutions, vision boards, all of that. And I have one that has a TED Talk stage printed out and in a frame, because I would love to be like an Al Caraway or John By the Way, Hank Smith, those kind of people, especially from a gospel perspective. I love speaking about Jesus and about what I believe about God. And I think that they are the most inspiring. They're the ones that give us inspiration. And so following them really helps you accomplish your dreams. But even just from a secular point of view, I would just love for someone to listen to this podcast and feel inspired. That is my biggest hope of all of this is, yes, that you watch the right TV shows and you read the books, but ultimately that you feel inspired to do so, that you want to go after something bigger than yourself or something that will make you happy, or at least try it. I mean, there's no guarantee that it's going to make you happy, but believe that there is happiness to be found everywhere in any situation. That is like a core belief of mine. So thank you so much for saying that, because that truly is a big dream of mine. I do have plans. Should I reveal right now? Drum roll, please. I've had this thought when I very first started of doing Sundays according to Nikki, because I have a lot of analogies that I've written, because I think in analogies, that's really, I feel like how God speaks to me is through visual interpretations of the things around me. And I've written a lot of these down as basically like talks. That's how I study my scriptures and study the Bible and all those things, is I will write questions and then I will try and come up with an answer to the question or how to describe the question in an analogy metaphor way. So I've had these written for years, and I'm always so happy and excited when someone asks me to speak in church. I'm always like, yes, it's my time. I'm thinking in the coming months, what I'm gonna do is just do a very short episode, maybe max 20 minutes. Every Sunday, it'll just be my analogies. It'll just be basically like a talk that I've either given or want to give, or I don't know.
Amazing.
That's kind of my plan. I'm still trying to figure out the kinks of what I want it to be, but that is coming soon. I think once I hit my 6-month mark with this, that's just going to be an added thing. So for anyone that wants to listen to that, I'm just planning on posting it to this channel, and it'll just be Sundays according to Nikki. But if that's something you don't feel comfortable with, not something you want, it's going to be different from my normal scheduled content. So if that's something you're looking to avoid, then you can very easily. Sundays according to Nikki are coming soon. It's my jump into inspirational speaking.
I just had the thought. I was thinking about how you could label them. In the title, we would know that that one was a Sunday according to Nikki. But if you put all of that in the title, like, oh, she could abbreviate. And I was like, SATN. Satan. It's like, maybe that's not gonna
Sundays according to Nikki Satan. Maybe it's my way to combat him. Oh, that'll be funny.
Anyways, I love the idea though. Please do.
Keep an eye out for those. Maybe I should work on the name.
It could be like Sundays ATN.
I didn't think I was going to reveal that, but that is what's been on my mind.
I would love that. I already binged the podcast anytime it's out.
So now just, some spiritual content, because that is a big part of who I am as a person. And I want this podcast to be very inclusive of anyone from any backgrounds, religious beliefs, anything like that, especially because I have a lot of friends outside of my religion that I've met all over the world. So I want it to be something that accommodates everything, but I would also like something a little bit separate where I can just be a little bit more vulnerable on the spiritual side. Nikki, thank you so much for coming on the pod today, for being the amazing human that you are, the creative genius that you are. I am just so inspired by you constantly. It makes me so happy and joyful to think that you feel the same about me. I am truly honored. To everyone out there, follow your dreams. Jump off that cliff. And if you end up doing the Valentine's Day Museum next year, you haven't decided yet, right?
I'm on the fence, but if I do, it will be in New York.
Guys, trip to New York? That's so exciting. Okay, keep your eyes out. The Valentine's Day Museum, all of the tagging and everything will be on the Instagram. Would you like to close us out, my friend?
Yes.
We have the same names. This will work out great.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
This is Nikki and Nikki signing off. These have been our thoughts on life, because this is life according to Nikki's.